We are coming upon a new era, a shift of the ages as prophesied by the ancients. No, this new era is not the end of the world. It is a new beginning as the earth, and anyone who chooses to join her, will shift from the third dimension to the fourth and fifth dimension. Sadly, most people aren't ready for or even aware of this shift, but alas, it is still happening. And for those in the dark, it may be a bumpy ride. There has been so much happening in the last few years with the acceleration of energy sweeping over the planet. Look around you. Things we've relied upon for years are changing, sometimes crumbling. Relationships are ending, governments are collapsing, and economies are faltering. What do you do? Let me pose some questions that will lead us to the answers. What is ascension? What are dimensions? And why isn't everyone going to go along for the ride? The word ascension has nothing to do with what is described in the Bible. No, ascension has more to do with creating your personal reality and jumping timelines. Think of timelines as possibilities. The word dimensions describes states of consciousness, and like timelines, they're available to anyone who is vibrating and resonating with a particular dimensional frequency. So dimensions aren't locations, and ascension isn't a type of movement you do to get from one dimension to another. And to define dimensions as either third or fourth, or lower or higher, really do not serve our purpose here, because ascension is really about expanding consciousness. So you're really not going anywhere. If anything, think of this shift as all of us playing the 3D game of life with its rules and regulations, and now having an opportunity to play a different game with new rules, new regulations, and a new awareness. The timeline we are presently experiencing is indeed our creation, both collectively and personally. Collectively, humanity has manifested a reality reflecting the conscious and unconscious beliefs we hold as players of the game of third-dimensional Earth. We play by the rules of this dimension. You'll notice I also stated this creation is manifested by unconscious beliefs as well, because many of the beliefs we, believe are ideas we've accepted growing up. It's a kind of programming that becomes unconscious. We accept these thoughts as truth because some authority figure, be it our parents, religions, governments, science, the media, etc., they told us that this is how reality is. And yes, it seems unbelievable, but the timeline you are experiencing is only one of many possible realities available. It's only been within the last few years that people are becoming aware that the reality they've come to know is something that can be changed consciously. You see, people are basically living in a kind of time loop. They default to life. It becomes automatic. Life becomes a habit they repeat over and over. What has happened in their past is remembered in their present and then projected into their future. Life is experienced over and over again, and very little changes. In fact, up until recently, it has taken a generation, or about 21 years, for any kind of expansion of consciousness to take place. And when it does, it's pretty much more of the same with different fashions, hairstyles, and more technological achievements that are supposed to make us happier. You know the story. People wake up every day, kiss their spouse and kids, do a 9-to-5 job, act normal, buy the latest and greatest advertised thing, watch TV, obey the law, and repeat the whole thing day after day, year after year. Again, ascension in its simplest form is an expansion of consciousness and awareness. It is a process of removing limiting beliefs and living your own truth. That means throwing out thoughts and beliefs that no longer serve you. It means letting go of the past, not worrying about the future that hasn't arrived, and becoming very present. Yes, living joyously in the now, and the next now, and then the next. Then repeating that day after day, year after year. To accomplish this, you're required to take a leap of faith, to leave the fears behind and venture into the unknown. If you're not the adventurous type and don't do well with change, you may find yourself struggling. It's very easy to fall back into that habitual time loop. People focused here will not shift and will continue to experience this third-dimensional timeline. So do whatever you can to stay present. Do whatever you can to stay happy. Do whatever you can to forgive and forget past hurts. Do whatever you can to become fearless about the future. Believe me, this will become easier and easier as you listen to your inner voice, your intuition, as it guides you moment by moment. Learn to trust this instinct, for it knows what's best for you. You've heard it said, you sow what you reap. Ask and it is given. Whichever way you want to say it, your wish is always fulfilled, for you alone create your personal reality. I know it may seem like someone else is to blame, but the people, events, and circumstances directly affecting you were created by you. And here's the rub. It's just as easy to create positive experiences as it is to create negative ones. So here's the secret. Just focus on what you want instead of what you don't want. Really? Can it be that simple? Most people are focused on what they don't want or don't like, right? And look at the reality they create. More of the things they don't want and don't like. So yes, it is as simple as focusing on what you do want as much as you can. The first step is to identify the timeline you wish to live in, the dimensional reality you want to experience. Maybe it's one that is positive, loving, and benefits all of humanity. The next step is to become a vibrational match to this intended reality. In other words, you must become positive, loving, and only do what benefits all of humanity. The third step is not to waver in your intent. This will be challenging as you'll easily be swept back into the time loop if you start to pay attention to the way things are. Once you start to question if this is all bunk because the evidence isn't showing up as fast as you would like, you'll slip onto the 3D time loop again. So do whatever you can to stay focused on your new objective. Again, stay happy. Let any fears you have simply move through you without guilt or judgment, and be appreciative of the wonderful things you have in your life. By feeling like you've already achieved the vibrational state you wish to be in, you amplify it and it gets stronger and stronger moment by moment. This strength will help you to hold the vision of your new dimensional timeline, as well as help you process the old reality that's trying to pull you back into the time loop. So your task is to be true to your vision while paying attention, yet ignoring, in a sense, what the current reality is showing you. I say ignoring because you're really noticing the old timeline, yet you are learning to process it differently. Where before your new awareness, you may have landed back in default mode, complaining about what you don't want. Now you understand the old timeline is merely a reflection of your previous thoughts, beliefs, and vibrations, and not those of the vibrational state you're moving to. One thing you'll start to notice is that not everyone will be making the shift you're intending. Not everyone is capable of loosening the grip of a reality they have been immersed in for so long. However, by becoming steadfast in your vibrational state, you will become a master of your positive, loving vision that benefits all, as well as a master at dealing with those who cannot express the same. Ascension, or jumping timelines and dimensions, is illustrated nicely by Steven Tyler of the band Aerosmith when he said, "I just pretended I was someone else until that someone else became me." Simple, huh? This is Dr. Tom Murasso from borntomanifest.com.